That's what it did. I panicked. I was very at that point felt more like an object than a person, as I said. So I felt like it was wrong of me to leave because I kind of belonged to this person.
Yeah.
Even though I hated him, his baby mama was psycho, and his daughter was becoming aggressive and psycho too.
What's up, you beautiful beasts? I'm Katie. I'm on a mission to help humans become the best possible versions of themselves and to strive for overall health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, all of the healths, without ever having to step on a scale. I have had the privilege to talk to all kinds of different humans who've been through a plethora of experiences just being a human and existing. I believe that every single time somebody shares their story, at least one person listening will learn from it, be inspired by it, and maybe, just maybe, even change the entire direction of their life. These are the stories of humans unveiling their beautiful beast. Keep listening. This is the Unveiling the Beast podcast. What up, beasts? Welcome back to the show. Today, I'm hanging out with Cynthia Ezakovich, and as you'll very soon see, I'm very proud of myself for being able to say that correctly because I couldn't say it correctly in the beginning. Anyway, she is my hot husband's best friend's daughter. In this episode, Cynthia shares her story of being in a mentally and physically abusive relationship and how she got out of it. She also talks about her newfound sobriety as she realized that she was addicted to alcohol. As always, I hope something lands with you today. I hope something you hear tugs on your heartstrings or I hope you laugh. Ladies and gentlemen, I am with Cynthia Ezakovich. Cynthia Ezakovich. Oh?
Cynthia, I suck that bitch.
Cynthia, I suck that bitch. Cynthia Esophagus? Cut.
I like that one better.
Esophagus? I'm with Cynthia
Ezakovich.
Ezakovich. There it is. That's the one.
But I now identify as esophagus.
I got you. And she is my hot husband's best friend's daughter. Yes?
Yes.
Are you not his daughter?
Well, I'm his daughter.
You're his daughter. Yeah.
I just thought it was a rhetorical question.
No, it's not a rhetorical question. And she is just full of not only piss, but also vinegar. And she's got some great stories to tell us. So go.
Vinegar.
Just kidding.
I did eat green olives yesterday. I think maybe.
Ooh, those are delicious.
I brought them because my coworker doesn't like olives. And so I'm trying to bring her different olives. So she'll just admit she likes olives. And she hated it. She looked like I killed her dog after she took the green olives.
Oh, no. That sucks because I love olives.
Me too.
Yeah. So, Cynthia Esophagus, can you please tell my listener who you are?
Just the one listener?
Yeah, it's my mom.
What do you mean who I am?
Like, who are you?
Okay, so I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Uh-huh. Show me your handle.
And then this is my spout.
Okay.
I work at a pizza place. They all suck. I don't even like pizza. You're going to lose listeners for that one.
Okay.
And I'm not very funny, except if you're looking at me. But looks don't get you very far.
That is not true. You have me rolling every time I'm over at your parents' house.
I roll too, but it's when I fall down and can't get up.
Oh, gotcha. I got you. So I have this memory of you, and I think we were talking about this last weekend, of visiting you at Cinnabon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first time I met you.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I think I met you before that at the house. We're just going to call it the house. Ladies and gentlemen, when we refer to the house, it'll be her parents' house. Her mom is my only drinking buddy once a year.
Just once a year.
Just once a year.
Every time you meet at the Oos.
Yeah, at the Who's. But tell me a little more. I mean, you work at a pizza place isn't actually who you are.
Unfortunately, that's kind of become my entire personality.
No, it's not. No.
What do we talk about?
So I understand that you and I have something in common, which may be a touchy subject, but hopefully
nothing is a touchy subject.
Oh, good. Because I think people can learn from other people's stories, and that's the whole point of this podcast. But unfortunately, one thing that we have in common is we have both been victims of abuse and abusive relationships. And so I am curious to know how that started, how he wooed you, and how you ended up brainwashed into thinking that you couldn't do better, as did I.
Because that's what happens.
Yeah. That's exactly what happens.
It was actually 3 in a row. The first one I met. Yeah, the first one I met online. I was smarter back then. So I was driving all the way to West Covina to go see this guy, which is about like a 45, 50-minute drive, and taking him out to places because he didn't have a car and paying for things. I was an idiot. I met a guy online. Don't do that.
And then Sean online.
Oh, I'm just kidding. Meet people
I'm
online.
just kidding. No.
The days are different now, okay? Now we have like different. Tinder and plenty of fish and crap.
Yeah, they don't even have AOL Instant Messenger anymore, so.
Oh, I met this one on a website called Vampire Freaks.
Nice. Okay,
yeah,
so that's your first red flag.
Yep, first red flag right there. Second red flag, driving him around. Third red flag, severe germaphobe. Our date would end when he'd have to go to the bathroom because I'd have to bring him home because he wouldn't use the public restroom. But the last time I saw him was on my birthday. He got me a 99-cent puppy notepad. And I didn't like dogs back then. I was a cat person. I'm a dog person now, but back then I hated dogs. And it wasn't just any dog. It was like chihuahuas on it. And if you know me, I don't like chihuahuas. Like big old bubbies.
Does anybody like chihuahuas?
Unfortunately, I made a comment about this guy's shirt being scary because I had a chihuahua on it. And I didn't know it was a memorial shirt for his dead dog.
Aww.
Oops. So I hand him the notebook back. And I was like, I appreciate it, but you can keep it. I don't like dogs. And he smacked me with the notebook and then threw it out the window. And then I turned my happy ass around and dropped him off back home and blocked him. So I was smarter the first time.
Yeah.
Second time, we'll just call him cesspool. We'll go by their MOs. That one, I knew him all through high school, knew him partially through middle school. So I had already known his personality and I kind of liked him. I didn't realize he was that aggressive, but apparently so. I should have red flagged. He got kicked out of high school for the last 2 years and had to go to continuation school. So for fighting, red flag.
Oh.
First time he ever laid a hand on me. I had left him for 2 weeks and went back. And we had gone to San Onofre, the beach, and I fell on the rocks and I cut open the whole side of my foot. And he was having a breakdown and I was trying to hug him because for me, that's what you do when somebody's having a breakdown. You just bear hug and hold on to them so that they can calm down. It pissed him off and he kept saying, stop touching me, but it's me. I don't stop when you say stop. Wink, wink, wink. And so he dug his hand into my wound and reopened it on purpose. And then, I started crying because it's me and I'm sensitive. But he ended up apologizing. It would never happen again. He didn't realize that was the hurt foot. He knew exactly which foot that was. All the good excuses.
Yeah.
His only happened maybe 3 times where he got physical. So, and they were always spaced just far enough apart for me to convince myself it wasn't going to happen again. It hasn't been happening. He's been really good.
Yeah.
And so I think by that time I was starting to normalize it. Okay, it's happening, but people have emotions. He's just mad. Yada, yada, yada. Excuse for him.
Justifying it in your head.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was sitting there going, I feel bad. He must be really upset. He's got anger issues. And I started to actually feel bad for him for hitting me, because then he felt bad. And then I felt like it's my fault. He feels bad,
Oy.
which is weird. So by the time I got with, let's call him Dickhead, the
Okay.
MOs that we call him.
Okay. Yeah. My ex is fuckface.
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 Love it. We all have
So-
we have just that name. So we don't have to say their gross names.
So Dickhead.
Dickhead.
Yeah.
He's
He's the one that I knew about. And
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you later on. Well, I think we discussed it a little bit last weekend, how like our side of it and how we saw it. And it's different on the other side.
It is. And everyone looking in just thinks that you're stupid. They just think that there's something wrong with you. And, and it's hard, because at the point where it becomes like so consistently abusive, you kind of dehumanize yourself.
Yeah.
You see yourself as more like an object that belongs to the person instead of a person who should leave. And a lot of people don't know that or don't see that. And they just think that you're stupid. And that's almost just as hard as the abuse itself, is when people talk to you like you're less because you're stupid for staying.
Yeah.
So, yeah. With Dickhead, he was so consistently abusive, like all the time. I have still photos I've saved. I still have screenshots of text messages, just because if something were to ever happen, I wanted there to be proof. I always thought that there was a possibility that one of these times he was going to kill me. And I wanted my family to go through my phone so that they would know it was him and he wouldn't get away with it. So I still have them to this day in my iCloud.
Do you think you'll ever get rid of those?
No.
Or do you think you'll keep them as a reminder?
I'll keep them as a reminder for sure.
Yeah.
There's no way I would ever get rid of them. I had more, but when he found out I had them, he had broke the phone previously to that so that I couldn't have them anymore. And I didn't have them backed up. So I did lose a lot of them, which hurts. I wanted all of them. I wanted to print them out and put them in a binder. And anytime that somebody would lay their hands on me in the future, I would have this binder to remind myself that it won't stop at the first time.
Yeah.
But I lost half of them.
So tell me how you guys met and how, because like obviously we fall for these fuck faces and dick holes,
Dipshits.
and dipshit ass cocks.
Stupid
there's a charming aspect to them, and like we fall for them. And then at least in my situation, the abuse didn't show up till later, or the red flags didn't show up till later, till I was already hooked. So what was his strategy, so to speak, if there was one?
I met him because I was working in the plaza.
The closet?
Of course, I was in the closet. I was working at the Riverside Plaza at a little burger place. Sorry. In the closet. We had a closet there.
Place. Okay.
In the closet at a burger place. And he was a security guard. And I used to think he was cute. Now I look back and go, why or how? But he had like a dashing smile, man. He just, and he's one of those that can make anybody like him, the manipulative, but very falsely charming kind of person. And so he used to walk by and I would like hold up a soda cup, like, here, fishy, fishy, fishy. I give him a free soda. I would just hold it up and wave it at him until he'd look at me. And then I had left my first abusive boyfriend 2 weeks prior to that. And so, of course, I was sitting there going, I need a rebound. So I was like, rebound, here I come. He's falling for the soda. And then we ended up like, we're just talking and he would come in, get a soda. We chit chat. I don't know why. He was just really freaking charming at first. And when my 21st birthday came around, because I was 20 at the time, I told him, I'm like, turning 21 next week. He goes, oh, you're going to celebrate it with your boyfriend? And I'm like, what boyfriend? Then he goes, well, you could celebrate it with me if you'd like. And I'm sitting there going, fuck yeah, I'm getting laid for my 21st birthday. That's a good present.
It's a good present.
A good present. And then we went from hanging out to like boyfriend, girlfriend super fucking quickly. I didn't even give any chance for red flags to show until it was too late. But the first red flag that everybody else saw when my parents first met him, we were going to Uka to go get some sushi. And I warned him, hey, I'm here with my parents. You can meet them, because we had been dating for about like 2 weeks. And we walk out and he's beating one of the trees with the chains that they use to lock up the tables and chairs at night, cursing at this chain and hitting a tree with it. And my parents saw that and did not like it. We got in the car and they told me how they did not like what they just saw. That's a red flag. He's angry. And I'm like, he's really nice to me. I think he's just having a bad day. People have bad days.
What was he upset about?
The people who put the chains away in the morning, just threw them all in there. So every single one of them was like connected in on itself and like tied up kind of. It was a thin chain. So he couldn't get them all apart. So he was beating them on a tree to get them apart. Yeah.
Okay. Because that'll work. Right.
Oh, he thought so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was like verbal about 2 months in. And this is after I figured out he lied about, he didn't have a car. He lied about his age. He lied about having a house. He was actually sleeping on the floor of a room his brother was renting.
Oh.
Yeah. And he didn't have a car. And he was 5 years older than what he told me he was. And it wasn't until I said something about, oh, you're turning like 23 or something like that. His brother goes, are you sure about that? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, sure, he's turning 23. And I'm like, that's not something I would think I couldn't be sure about. So then I went and found his ID when he was taking a nap and realized, oh, yeah, he lied. He was 5 years older than that.
So he's 28.
Yeah, he was 28. And I had just turned 21, which for me, I liked older men. I'm like, you would have sounded better if you told me your real age. So, yeah, I should have caught the hint when he lied about all of that. And then later on, like 3 months in, tells me that he got this woman pregnant right before we met and she's having his kid. And so in came a baby mama. Baby mama caused tension. Tension turned to abuse.
Yeah.
She starts showing up in the middle of the night, knocking on the window and then running and hiding behind a tree like an adult, even though she was like 29 or 30 at the time, I think.
So she did that. She did that to him?
Yes, she would just run up to the house where like we were all staying. She didn't want anything to do with him until she found out about me. Like the first, he posted one photo with me in it. And all of a sudden she is about out of hell going, you were supposed to wait for me. I knew I wasn't sure and I didn't want you, but you were supposed to wait for me. Like, yeah, she didn't want him. She just wanted him to not be with somebody until she decided if she wanted him.
Oh.
So she started showing up and that caused a lot of tension between us. And then we started arguing. And then about maybe 3 months in, was it like 3 months? That's when like the first physical fight happened. And then it just never stopped from there. And then he started raging alcoholic drinking, like 3 to 5 40-ounce of Bud Ice every day. And I used to hide on the swing set while he was in the house drinking because we had a little swing set in our backyard. So never stopped from there. Even after I left.
Then at this point, did anybody else know what was going on?
People had ideas because I had a black eye, but he took me to buy me makeup. He was so nice.
Yeah, that's so sweet of him.
I know, man, such a gentleman. So he got me makeup, and so I was able to cover like the majority of the black eye. But he had also ruptured. He hemorrhaged my eyeball itself, so it was all bloody red, like the whole side of it. And I kept telling people, oh, it's just a hemorrhage because I'm stressed. I'm just stressing, and I woke up and it was like this. And about 2 different people, my work father is what I call him, noticed. And he was like, you need to stop lying. I know that you didn't do that. And I'm like, no, I really did. But I was also consistently showing up with like bruises. So he'd go, oh, where's that one from this time? And I'm like, what do you mean, where's that one from? I live in a small house. I bump into everything,
Yeah.
excuses. And then the manager at the jewelry store where I worked for a short period of time, she also was telling me, you're being stupid. I know that these are coming from him. She didn't like him. Anytime he'd come in, she would be like, I'm going to go to the back so I don't have to look at you. And then go in the back after she said it to him. So I loved her for that. It was always funny. So people had ideas.
But what compelled you to keep it a secret?
Did
you think you deserved it?
Well, it was just becoming so normal to me. Yeah. I like normal to me, but I know deep down that it is very abnormal to others. And so I felt like if I told people or if I didn't keep it a secret, I would look really stupid to half of the people. And after I told my parents I wasn't going to let it happen again, when they found out about cesspool, hitting me and me staying, I was like, they're going to hate me. I was never going to tell them. And then I got drunk and told them, but they said they already had a pretty good idea it was happening.
Yeah. And they didn't hate you, right? They hated him.
Kind of, yeah. But when they found out that I was going back and still trying to take care of him, they hated me. Yeah.
I don't think they didn't hate you, obviously. They love you.
Not like that
the
kind
shit
of
out of you, But, they didn't understand what compels somebody to keep going back to that,
See, and my biological father was abusive to my mother before he died. And she stayed. And so if anybody were to understand what it would be like, I know she would. Yeah. But he died. That was her out. There was never, I left and didn't come back to him. He left the earth. Thank God for that.
The world. Uh-huh.
6 feet under. So I know that to an extent she understands what I went through, but she doesn't understand what happens when you leave that first time and you panic.
Yeah.
That's what it did. I panicked. I was very at that point felt more like an object than a person, as I said. So I felt like it was wrong of me to leave because I kind of belonged to this person.
Yeah.
Even though I hated him, his baby mama was psycho. And his daughter was becoming aggressive and psycho too.
Well, genetic. Yeah. The genetics.
Oh yeah, she had 2 crazies.
I was gonna say the genetics are insane, like literally.
Oh yeah. Quite literally. And the period of time, like the 3.5 years, 4 years I was in her life, I was trying so hard to give her a chance at being a good person.
Yeah.
I was trying because Dickhead and his entire family were all fucking psycho. They're all insane ass people. Baby mama and her entire family, insane and psycho. And I'm like, this kid's never going to have a normal life.
Yeah, that poor kid.
I used to feel bad for her, but I don't anymore. Yeah. One time I got in an argument with Dickhead because she took our DVD player and smashed it on the ground because he had locked himself in the bathroom to smoke weed like he always did when she was over, and it was pissing her off. I was trying to give her juice and tell her he's coming out in a minute. Why don't we turn on cartoons? I'm like, what DVD do you want to watch? And she grabs the DVD player and slams it on the ground and breaks it. And I take her hand and I give her one little pat on the hand. Gentle, just a pat.
Yeah.
She runs over to the bathroom door. She hit me. She hit me. She hit me. And you can definitely believe what a psycho person does if you touch their daughter. Yeah. So we got in a all-out brawl fight, and he choked me in front of her. And all I remember is her fucking laughing. Her stupid, maniacal little giggle in the background while he's choking me on the floor. That's when I realized that there's a big potential he could kill me.
Yeah.
So, because he had no remorse for that either. Once he choked me and I almost blacked out, he actually dragged me outside by my hair and then locked me out of the house. Yeah. So I had to wait out there for hours because he wouldn't give me my keys, so I couldn't leave.
Joy.
I didn't have my phone, so I couldn't call anybody. So
For me, like, and what I've observed in talking to other people who have gone through abuse, whether it's just mental abuse or physical abuse or both, but it slowly like chips away little pieces of us and it's like little tiny bits at a time until one day we're not ourselves anymore. Like you don't know who you are anymore. And yeah, I just know that if I stayed in that situation, I wouldn't be alive right now, whether it be him doing something to me or me committing suicide.
Oh,
Honestly.
yeah. Once you
Yeah.
feel like you're trapped, there's usually only one way out in your mind because you're an object that leaving him isn't an option in your head anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I get that. And I've never actually bounced back.
Another thing Fuckface did was, which had me staying, was he would threaten, if you ever leave me, I'll kill myself. So I felt that it was my duty to stay with him so that he wouldn't die.
Cesspool did that line on me once. Just once, though.
For the record, he's still alive.
Damn it. You promised.
But yeah. How did it feel when you finally got out of there for the last time?
It took meeting Aaron to realize that somebody could think I was worth more. And so for the first couple of months, every time that I would go to bed, I would be checking out the window thinking he's going to show up and kill me because he had found out that I was seeing Aaron because I guess his baby mama saw us at the mall or something and told him. And so I was really afraid he was going to show up and try and kill us. So it didn't feel good for a long time after because there was always consistent fear. I think it wasn't until like a few, maybe 5 or 6 months that I started to realize if he was going to do something, he would have done something. And he never showed up to do something. So at that point, I was more feeling like, God, I was stupid than feeling relieved. I didn't let myself feel relieved. I let myself feel guilt, especially because my family was so upset at me. They found out that I'd been seeing him because when he found out I was seeing Aaron, he let them know that I was still going over and bringing him food and talking to him and seeing him. I never really got to feel the relief for a long time. But looking back, I'm relieved. I've seen photos and he's with that baby mama now and they are both 2 tons of fun.
Good for them.
I'm so happy they're making it work.
Oh, yay. That poor child.
Oh my gosh. He has another one too. They really need to stop breeding.
Yeah. Just chop them off,
Widow peak children.
Yeah.
They've got his hairline, so they got a widow peak.
Oh, joy. So that actually leads to my next question. When did you start self-medicating?
Ooh, that didn't come until I was 29. And I'm 30 now. And I left him at 25? I'm bad at math. I don't math very well.
Okay.
So it actually didn't. I never liked beer. I didn't like drinking because he made drinking so horrifying for me. So I didn't really care to. But I went to go get my hair done at my friend's apartment. And she asked if I wanted a drink. And I said, I really don't drink. I don't like it. And she goes, I have tequila and I have pickle juice. And I'm like, what do you mean pickle juice after tequila? Like, I love pickles, man. I can eat pickles for days. And she goes, here, you just have to try it. And so she gave me a shot of tequila and pickle juice. And that was the best thing I ever had in my life. And for someone who's gone this long with only being drunk a couple of times, I was like, oh, well, I never drink, so I might as well, I'm allowed to have fun. And then I realized I liked it so much, I started doing it every day because if I was drunk, I wasn't feeling anything. And I would go to work miserable. I hated my job, still hate my job, still at the same miserable life job I'm at. And drinking was getting me through that job really well too. I was getting so many tips because I am so friendly when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
But then I realized it was turning into an entire bottle a day of Jose Cuervo, 750 milliliter bottle. And I didn't think too much of it until I went to go get blood work done because I wanted to check my thyroid because I had gained so much weight, probably from the alcohol, but I never pieced that together.
Yeah.
And then my liver enzymes were insanely out of control, like 155 when they were supposed to be under 50. And so I'm like, uh-oh, ruh-roh.
Yeah. And so you stopped drinking because it was like a doctor thing, like you better knock this off or you gonna die.
Yep.
And then that's you told me last week then when you stopped drinking you had the shakes and you were like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was kind of the wake-up call too.
Yeah.
Tremors, whole body tremors, like thought I was going to have a seizure. And I'm like, I didn't even realize I was addicted to the alcohol. I thought I was just more addicted to not feeling and being happy about everything. And so apparently my body was also addicted, not just my mind.
That's the thing though. Were you really happy about everything? Because you can't just numb one emotion and think that the other ones are still going to stick around. When you numb one emotion, you're numbing all of them. So were you really happy?
When drinking?
Yeah.
I thought so. I was too drunk to know if I was. I just know that I was laughing more and that my days were going quicker and I'd go to work and it didn't feel like I was there for like 18 hours, even though I'm not there for 18 hours, but it feels like it, days were going fast and I was felt like I was enjoying life more.
Gotcha.
That was hard. Quitting was hard. I fell off the wagon twice. And I always thought, okay, if I quit drinking every day, I'll be fine to have a drink here and there. My cousin goes, nope. When you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. Nope. So you won't be able to just have one or two shots. It'll never be enough. And I'm sitting there going, I know she's been through all this, but God, I thought I knew best. And the first time I drank after, she's right. 1 and 2 shots isn't enough. You just go, okay, just one more. Okay, just one more. I still feel fine. Let me just have one more.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're drunk.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I miss drinking. I know a lot of people look back and go, oh, my life is so much better. And I'm like,
Well, it's still new for you, right?
A couple of months,
been 2 months. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks. I feel like that's not earned because I fell off the wagon twice. Once a month, I've fallen off the wagon. I'm trying not to do that again.
Oh, I got you. I didn't know what you meant for a second. I'm very curious where all these wagons come from, and why are people just falling off of these wagons?
I blame the Amish. I think they invented the wagon.
Maybe if people never get on the wagon in the first place, they won't fall off. But then we wouldn't learn the lesson that we learn from getting on in the first place and going, holy shit, I need to get off. Maybe you're not falling off. I'm
taking a little hop off and then trying to get back on. Yeah. But I'm short, so it feels like falling.
Yeah, so your little legs are going and try to chase after it. Come back.
The wagon's leaving without me.
Well, I know you need to go to work. So I really appreciate you sharing all that with me because I've always been the outsider. And I think, not that I'm like God or anything, but I think because I've been through it, like I understood a little more why you would keep going back. And you can't explain that to people. Like it's a a knowing, I guess. You just, if you've been through it, but you can't explain it to other people because they don't know because they haven't been through it.
I think the worst part of all of it is how much it changes you at the end, even when you're out. And I've told Aaron, I used to be a very nice and happy girl. And I used to be really loving. I used to be really clingy. And I'm none of those anymore. Like sometimes I get in a mood and I don't want to be touched. And then I feel like I'm mean and I don't want to break a spirit like mine had been broken. But sometimes I'm worried that it's turned me into a meaner version of myself. And I've got a nice, sweet person who's clingy and loving and caring, and I don't want to break his spirit.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people don't.
Almost like it's a permanent bitterness.
Yes. Permanent bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect description.
Yeah. That you can't really it's like a grapefruit. It's going to be bitter no matter.
Have you tried putting sugar on your grapefruits? It makes them taste better.
I just stopped eating like the skin, and I just eat the little balls that are filled with juice because I like juice-filled balls. I just spit.
You're supposed to swallow when you have juice-filled balls.
Oh yeah. Is there anything else that you forgot to mention, or that you wanna spit out?
I think the last thing I had wanted to say was that, permanent bitterness, because you think that once everyone thinks, okay, well, now that you're out, you're fine. You're not.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, I do want to mention that you can find yourself becoming that bitter person who breaks somebody else's spirit because it happened to you.
Yeah.
And
it's hard because it does your experience transfers to the next relationship, whether you're whether you mean for it to or not, that was fun to say. Yeah. Like I still have a hard time asking Sean to take the trash out sometimes because I'm afraid he's going to yell at me and get mad. I'm like, that's really stupid. He's the sweetest guy I've ever known.
I don't think he is capable of yelling.
Oh, he is. I've heard him yell twice in the 23 years I've known him.
He's yelled twice?
Twice.
I didn't know that man could yell.
He can. And it's pretty scary.
I've been with Aaron for like 5 years now? It's 5 years now. And he's never yelled at me once. I mean, he's yelled at the dogs. I've heard him yell. And even if he did yell at me, which he hasn't, I'd laugh because he's an adorable little Mormon. And when they yell, it's cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sean's never yelled at me, but I've heard him yell twice at other people.
Yeah, Aaron's never yelled at me, but he's yelled at like the dogs and the cat, especially the cat, because the cat is a demon in disguise and fluffy and full of angst.
So at the end of each episode, I ask everybody one question, and that is, if you had one piece of advice that you could give to the world, what would it be?
I always believe that if you take the time to do one nice thing for somebody, just once a day, if you leave the house, do a nice thing for someone, a compliment, give a homeless person a cigarette or $1, do something nice. You will make the world go round. And I live by that every day. I do at least one nice thing for somebody, one compliment, one cigarette to a homeless person, something like that. Be nice. There's not enough nice in the world. Nice is hard to find.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cynthia Ezakovich signing off. Until next time.
Okay.